Now let us discuss certain exemption that is provided under our CPC. Exemption to certain category of women for their appearance before the court that is provided under section 132 of CPC. In case of Pardanasin lady, they are exempted under law to appear before the court even though they received summon from the court. So in that case, they will be represented through their lawyer and their lawyer will represent them in the court. While adducing their evidence, they can be examined through the commission also. So the provision of this exemption is very much given, that is under section 132 of CPC. And certain other categories of people also are exempted under law to appear before the court, that is provided under section 133, that is called exemption of other persons under law. The other person, those will be exempted, they will apply to the court and their application will be considered and they will be exempted to appear before the court, so that their representation will be made through their conducting lawyer. The lawyer will appear before the court on behalf of their clients and they will represent them during the continuance or the proceeding of the suit. So these are certain exemption provided under law. Now let us discuss a very important chapter, that is section 148A of CPC, that is called caveat, right to issue caveat. What is the meaning of this term caveat? Let us know first. Suppose in a suit, two parties are litigating. Plaintiff has filed a suit against the defendant. Now the defendant is apprehending that the plaintiff may file any other suit also concerning the same cause of action in another court, or some other relating to any related cause of action. There is every possibility that he may file a multifarious suit in the court. So in that case, if the defendant will not receive the summon from the court, there is every possibility that the plaintiff may take a ex parte decree against him. So in that case, definitely it will be prejudice to him. So in that case, the defendant will file a caveat petition before the court under 148A of CPC, so that it will be the duty of the court to inform that party because the other party has filed a litigation against you, so you appear and defend yourself. So this is just like a information given by the court to the party who has filed the caveat petition. That petition is filed by the caveator. So once the petition is filed, that will be valid for 90 days. And during that period, any action taken by the adverse party, that the court is there to inform the party, the party who is called a caveator, so that necessary protection he will take as per law. So this is a special provision given under our CPC. So a person, so the main emphasis of this law, before passing any order, the party should be given reasonable opportunity. So the odi alteram partem, that formula is also applied here. So the reasonable chance or opportunity is given to the defendant so that he will appear before the court, so that the case should not pass, the court will not pass any order adversely that will affect the party. So that is the sole purpose of filing caveat under law. Nowadays, due to this paucity of time, the courts are nowadays inclined to party to give to their evidence, the evidence in the shape of affidavit. Under 18 Rule 4, there is a provision, the evidence will be submitted in the form of affidavit by the parties. The plaintiff, suppose if plaintiff is giving evidence by appearing before the court and is giving evidence, it will take some time, the cross-examination will be taken up in this way, so a lot of time is required. So at least whatever he is going to give evidence in chief examination, that time will be saved if the person will be allowed to file his affidavit, his evidence in the form of affidavit, and the related provision is Order 18 Rule 4 of CPC. So nowadays all these civil courts, they are inclining the parties to file their evidence in the form of affidavit by applying the provision Order 18 Rule 4. So definitely this is a very welcome provision. By this, the valuable time of the court is saved, and after serving the copy of the affidavit to the adverse party, to the defendant party will get ready for hearing and cross-examining the witness. So simply cross-examination will be taken up basing on the affidavit submitted by the party or plaintiff. So that is the provision given under Order 18 Rule 4 of CPC. So this is a special provision just to save the time of the court. So these provisions are nowadays very much applying. So in sum total, after analyzing all these aspects of law, we understood that the legal representation or legal representative is very much vital in case of this CPC. The civil case does not extinguish on the death of a party. The case will continue on the legal representative. Those will be implemented later on the application of the other party. The other party will give a application before the court that the judgment debtor or defendant dies. His legal heirs are the following persons are his legal heirs. So those persons will be, the court will permit the party to substitute those persons so that they will fight the case on behalf of the deceased party. So there is a special provision of the under this law, but this system is not given under our criminal law. So in sum total, so the provision of injunction is there. It is very high prerogative order. The party who is aggrieved, he can take a order of injunction by applying the order 39, rule 1, rule 2, many provisions are there. All the provisions he can apply so that the other party will be prohibited to take any action under law. So the other party will be ordered to be restrained by the order of the court. So that order is a very high prerogative order and the party is bound to follow the same. If there is any violation, it will lead to breach of order of the court and ultimately contempt proceedings shall be drawn accordingly. So these are certain very important provision. Now let us discuss another very important aspect of law, that is called res judicata. That is given under section 11 of CPC. The very purpose, res means in between, judicata means judicature or decision. That means the principle is that once a matter is adjudicated between two parties for the one cause of action, for the same cause of action between the litigating parties, they cannot file another suit in any court of law having same jurisdiction for the same cause of action. So this is one kind of restriction. It is one kind of restriction given to parties to stop the litigation forever. So this is just like to stopping the vexatious litigation. This method is adopted, res judicata. Once a matter is adjudicated in any court of law in the country, the same parties, either of the parties, they cannot proceed against the other party for the same cause of action which is already adjudicated in any court of law having same jurisdiction or having concurrent jurisdiction to decide the same. So the party is precluded, the party is stopped under law to proceed further. So this is one kind of system of just like estoppel under law. So party is stopped under law to proceed something. So once a party is proceeding for the same cause of action in another court of law against the other party, the party, agreed party, he can take the help of this estoppel and he can take the help of this res judicata. By applying section 11 of the CPC, the case will be dismissed. So res judicata plays a very vital role in our law. But the party who is seeking res judicata law, he has to prove this same. The burden of proof lies on the person who takes the plea of res judicata. So this is incumbent burden on the person of petitioner who is proving res judicata. So once a person is proving that res judicata, it is his burden to establish through documentary evidence or any other sort of evidence available under law, so that he has to prove that already the matter has been adjudicated and basing on that adjudication, the other party or agreed party has not preferred any sort of appeal. That's why there is no appeal is there. So the case is prohibited under this res judicata chapter and res judicata will come into operation. If once there is a appeal, then the question of res judicata does not arise at all. So once there is a appeal against the judgment, so it will proceed according to that law in appellate court. But there is no system of any res judicata. Once there is no appeal and the party has filed the subsequent litigation for vexatious litigation, for multiplicity of this litigation in another court, then only the res judicata chapter will come into operation. So definitely it is the incumbent duty of the party who is seeking that res judicata. He has to establish through cogent evidences, either through oral evidence or through any sort of documentary evidence. All the documentary evidence means that whatever the certified copies that is available to him to establish that the case is earlier adjudicated in a particular court of law. Accordingly, he has to submit that the certified copies of the documents. Basing on that document, court can dismiss this suit because it is hitting the principle of res judicata given under section 11 of CPC. So these are certain important aspect of law. But one thing we have very fantasy of this civil law is that it is a, as per my opinion, it is a very lengthy procedure, because this system is just like elasticity. Just like in case of elasticity, once you will enlarge it, you will come to, and again if you will release, then again you will come to original condition. Similarly, so even if suppose you have taken a decree, ex parte decree, there is every possibility again there is chance of setting aside. So all the provisions that is given under this law, setting aside ex parte order, setting aside the ex parte decree, many provisions are there. Again the case will come back to original position. Suppose something has been left, again it is during appellate stage, again it is ordered that the case is remitted back to the court of original court. Again it is coming back to the original court by setting aside the whatever the order that is passed. So once there is a setting aside, again lot of time is consumed, and definitely it is very cumbersome process, and again the case comes to original condition. But in case of the criminal law, there is no system like this. There is no system of elasticity. Once a witness is examined, unless there is need to recall him, there is no chance to be re-examined later on. Again, there is no chance of setting aside, or again it case will come to original condition. So this is the fantasy of law. So many things you have to remember. Only one thing, the you have to see mainly three aspects: jurisdiction, cause of action, limitation. Similarly, right, title and interest. These are the basic aspect of the civil law, and all these things are decided, adjudicated by civil courts by granting relief to the parties in the form of decree. And once it is a decree is passed, definitely it is a full and final. And if decree is not a completely passed, it is a partial decree, part decree. In this way you will get. So these are some of the very important lessons given under our CPC. With this I am closing my CPC 1908.